Okay, fine. So yesterday, right, we just see that like, right, how to create a Java project and then how to create a class for it. This is what we saw. And also we saw the first Java program by printing the value. Just I use that system.out.println. This is what we discussed in the previous session. Oh, okay. You did not downloaded that. Okay, what happened, Anu? Any issue? It is any issue, or you did not get any time? Yeah. So actually, yesterday I uploaded, but I forgot to share that link and all. That is just now, right? I realized that is what. Sometimes I will forget, but as I said, right now, going forward, right, daily basis only I will upload. Okay, fine. So here now what I want to do is I wanted to like right continue with the simple program. This is my simple program. Now today what I wanted to do is see, whenever if you are learning any programming language, whatever may be the programming language, whether it is Java, XYZ, the first thing you need to understand data types. What is data types in my Java? Even in Java also you are having data types. Data types is nothing but like what kind of data you are storing. So each and every programming language will have your data types. And here what you are trying to do is, right, you are trying to reserve your memory locations. That means, right, what do you mean by storing? Storing is nothing but when you say that a is equal to 10, your 10 value will be stored into your a variable. For that, your language will reserve some memory location. That is called our data types. Data types is nothing but this is used to store your values in your particular memory locations. And if you go to any programming language, you may be having different data types. Even my Java also is having different data types. Right? What is the data types? I'm having integer, I'm having float, I'm having long, I'm having double, right? I'm having character. So I'm having different data types in my programming language. So why this different data types means what kind of data you are storing. See, you want to store some value, agree. So what kind of data you want to store? Now, see here Eclipse. Now I don't want this. Let me comment this. How to comment the block? If you want to comment the block, // so this entire block will be commented. Otherwise we will take another class. Right click, we will take another class. Class is nothing but simply, right, you can say that it is a test case. Data types, data types, data types, data types. So here, right, here what I am trying to do, I am trying to understand data types in my Java language. As I said, you are having different data types, integer, float, character, and your double, long, you are having so many things. That means what kind of data you are storing. See, and one more thing, this data types is mandatory in your Java. This declaration is mandatory. When you say that a is equal to 10, it will throw the error message. See here, because it must be declared with your data types. What is the data type? Now you can see that. So whatever the value you are trying to store, so I'm trying to store some integer, then I'll say that int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20. So you are having different data types in your Java. That is, one of the data type is integer. Integer means, right now what I will do is I'm trying to store some integer value. When you are trying to store your integer value, then data type should be integer. Okay. Now if you want to print your value, now I'll say that a. Now your a value will be printed. B. Now when you run this, see, it will print your A value, and now I don't want, it will show you all the classes. Right now I want to execute only this class. Select this, click on run. Now you can see that, see, that means now like this. That means, right, what you can do is you can have your integers, and integers can be declared by using a data type called integer. For this integer you will use, and if you have float, that means, right, I want to store some value, right, where it is having some digits. Float. Okay. That means, right, when you say that float means, what it will do is, it will be storing the decimal values. If you want to store only decimal values, then you can use your float. Float is nothing but it will simply store your decimal values, right? Remember, right, whenever if I say that float will simply display the decimal values. So what it will is, it will just store your decimal values only. Okay, fine. But sometimes what will happen is, float we will use very less, but sometimes I wanted to store both my integers as well as decimals. This kind of situation we will use a data type called double. Double will store both your integers as well as your decimals. So if you want to store both your decimals as well as integers, then go with your double. So these are all the data types. That means, right, see, when you are working with your test cases, what kind of data you are storing, when you are storing some value, see that what kind of data you are storing. When you are storing only integer, then I can simply say that say integer. But if it is having both your integers as well as decimal numbers, then you can say that double. So what kind of data you are storing, based on that you can use word data type. Okay. Okay. And one more thing is, right, whenever if you want to store long values, that means, right, see, integer means, like, right, you can store some values here and you can store some values here. And suppose, just imagine that you wanted to store long values. This kind of situation, what you can do is, you can use your long. Long is used to store your if you want to store your long values, that means, right, just imagine that, like, right, I'm having one number which is like, right, it is having like 6 to 7 digits, then I can simply use my integer. However, if you want to store more values, if you want to store more number of digits, then you can use your long. So it's a long integer. See, long is nothing but whenever if you are having an integer which is having that long number of values in my integer, then what I can do is, I can simply use my long. You can use your long. And then characters. That means, right, now I want to store some characters. I want to store some characters. Then what you can is, you can use a data type called char. If you see here, right, even though I declared the correct way, but it is showing the error message, because see, whenever if you are creating that variables, you can use only one time. You are not supposed to use multiple times. Already I used my D, again I am trying to use. That's the reason it is throwing the error message. See, please make sure that you are not using the same variable again and again. because it will throw the error message, because one time only you can use your variables like this. That this is how you can declare your variables. This is how you can declare your variables. This is how you can declare your variables. See what kind of data you are storing in your variable. When you are storing your integer, I can declare that variable as int, and when I am trying to store that value which is having both integers as well as decimal values, then I can use my double. And whenever if you are trying to store some characters, then you can use char. Okay, you are also having string, but actually string is not a data type. String is not a data type, it's a class. You can also use your string, right? You can also use your string like this. That means, right, now what you are trying to do, you are trying to store test string in your yes. That means going forward all the time, my yes will contain this string only. Click on run. All the time your string will contain this yes only. See, your test string will be available. That means in your entire script, wherever you are using your yes, every time your yes will contain test only. Okay. So these are all your different data types available in your Java: integer, double, character, float and all we will use very less only, and then character, string. These are all very common integers we will use in our Java programming. Okay, data type is nothing but what kind of data you are storing into your variables. Based on that, you can declare your data types. Remember, this data type declaration is mandatory in your Java. Otherwise, it will throw the error message. Simply, if I say that a is equal to 10, it will throw the error message. See, it is asking create a variable for this. It will not allow like this. So you have to initiate that variable. That's mandatory. You have to initialize that variable. Okay. So I declare like this. So declaration is mandatory in your Java. Okay. So this is how you can work with your data types. Now you can have n number of variables with your data types. You can have integer, double, character, string, n number of data types. Now here also I gave you some example also how to do that and all. Okay. Now okay. Now one more thing is, right, now before going to that this boolean and all, right, now I wanted to tell you one more thing. See here, right, just imagine that I am having like, right, two strings. I wanted to concatenate that string. That means I wanted to add two strings. Then see here, string concatenation. This is also one of the important concept, string concatenation. That means, right, I'm having my string is string s1 is equal to learning selenium, string s2 is equal to through online. That means, right, now I wanted to add these two strings. That means in strings, right, add means concatenation. We will call it as concatenation. Concatenation is nothing but whenever if you want to add your strings, then we will call it as concatenation. That means now what you can do, let me give a different variable. String concatenation is equal to s1 plus s2. Yeah, yes or no. String s3. So here what I said, like, right, I want to do the concatenation. This is very common, like, right? Just imagine that you are writing your scripts. When you're writing your scripts, you are having two values, and then you wanted to you wanted to concatenate those two values. Then what you can do is you can use this plus icon. When you say that plus icon, then it will concatenate your two strings, and you can store your value in your separate string. And every time it's mandatory to declare your data type. It's mandatory to declare your data type. If you're not providing, see, immediately it will throw the error message. And if you move the cursor, it will give you some help here. String. And one more thing, guys, Java is case sensitive. So make sure that you are using that names as it is. It's a case sensitive. If it is uppercase, you have to use your uppercase. If it is lowercase, you have to use your lowercase. It's a case sensitive. Now let me print this value. Let me see whether it is coming correctly or not. Now when you say like this, now see what will happen when you click on run. When you click on run, it will be printing your learning Selenium through your online. So here what is happening is, right, now you are having two strings, and if you wanted to add two strings, if you want to concatenate your strings, then you can say like this. Plus is nothing but it's a concatenation. Plus used for concatenation. That means adding your concatenation, two strings. Okay, it is used for your concatenation. Okay, like this. Now, so here, right, what I did, right, now if I wanted to concatenate two strings, I can simply say that S1 plus S2. Then what it will is, right, it will add. Say for example, if I am having int A is equal to 10, int B is equal to 20. If you are having this kind of situation, now see what will happen. I wanted to print A plus B. Tell me what it will print. What it will print? Tell me. What it will print when I say that A plus B? What it will print? Right? See, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and when I say that A plus B, what it will print? Now, here, right, see, here this is, right, what is this? Plus is used for our concatenation. This is not the plus symbol. This is used for our concatenation. See what will happen when you click on run. This is used for your, one second. I'll say get the value like this. Get the addition value. Okay, let me run. So when you're using like this, then what it will do, right? When you're having a string, so you're trying to add two strings. See what is happening? Get the addition value is equal to 10 plus 20. The reason is, right, this is a string. This is a string, and you are trying to use your plus. When you are using your plus, then it will consider as a concatenation. So concatenation means what it will is, it will append like this. Now what you have to do in this kind of situation, just put your brackets, then what it will is, it will consider this as an integer and it will print a proper value now. This is simple things, and then going forward we need to implement all these in our scripts and all. See, now you can see how properly it is coming. So here, right, usually plus will be used for your concatenation when you are using strings. When using the strings. Okay. Fine. Okay. Like this. Now, right, what I understand is right now what I understand is I understand that what are all the different data types, and also I understand that what is strings, how the string looks like, and how I can do that string concatenation. String concatenation, you can simply use your plus icon, simply. And one more thing is here, right, here if you see here, right, here you are having so many variables: integer, double, float, character, string, and then one more data type also is available, that is nothing but your boolean. Boolean also is one more data type, but boolean will have either true or false. It will be having either true or false. True or false. That means, so it will be like this. Okay, I will write that. I will be giving a simple example. I will say like this: boolean b is equal to true. So you can store either, right, you can store either true or false. Boolean b1 is equal to false. You can do like this. You can do like this. That means, right, here what will happen is it will store only your true or false. It will not store any other values. Okay, that means I will write like this also: if 10 greater than 20, then I will tell you if condition how to implement in few seconds. First I wanted to tell you how the boolean will be written. Now I will say that true, no, false, right, false. B, else. So this is how you can write your program. See, very simple. So what I am trying to do is I will tell you how to implement this if condition. Okay. I will tell you how to implement this if condition. This is just for our understanding only. Otherwise I will say boolean b is equal to 10 greater than 20. So I can do like this simply. I will tell you in if condition sometime. B, like this. Okay. So this is very simple. Okay. Now boolean also is one more data table, one more data type is available in your Java. So what is this boolean will do is whenever, right, if you want to compare two values, then the best data type is your boolean. What boolean will do? Boolean will store either true or false. If it is correct, it will say that true. If it is not correct, it will say that false. Only two values you can store in your boolean. See, it's false. It's false. It's false. It's false. You will also learn, right? You will be learning this data. This is like if condition, all those things, right? You will be learning in some time. You will be learning this, like all these operators, all those things. I'll be telling you first, right? Once we are done with this, Okay, fine. Okay, so here, right, the point here is data types. You are having different data types, and also you have one more data type called your boolean. Boolean is used to store your values, either true or false. It will not store any other values. It will just simply store either true or false. Now what I will do is I will be going to that next thing is operators, right? Operators. That means, right, if you go to your any language, you will be having very basic operators like your arithmetic operators. That means how you can add two values, how you can subtract two values, how you can multiply two values. That is called your arithmetic. And then relational, like, right, how you want to check whether two values are equal or not. And then logical operators. Logical operators is nothing but, like, right, I want to check two conditions at a time. That means I want to check A is equal to B and B is equal to C. That means, see here, right, now my condition is I want to check A is equal to B and C is equal to D. So I want to do two conditions at a time. This kind of situation, what you can do is you can use your logical operators. You can use your logical operators and all. What is this logical operators? I will tell you, right? So logical operators is there, and also assignment operators also is there. I will talk about that, all these operators. Once you are done, you will be comfortable with the operators. Then we will slowly get into that if condition, for loop, switch case, all those things. Okay, fine. Now let me talk about your let me create one more class. So I'm trying to create one class for each thing so that you guys will be comfortable. So operators, I wanted to create operators. So here what is my intention? I wanted to understand the operators, like what are all operators are available, how I can implement these operators in my Java. Anyway, right here also I provided how to work with your operators. First, what I will do, I will talk about your arithmetic operators. That means arithmetic means I want to add 2, subtract 2, multiply, divided by, and increment, decrement. All these comes under your arithmetic. That means, right here, what I will do, this is my int. So this is how you can declare. Just now we saw the data types. Int b is equal to 200. Okay. Now I wanted to add two numbers. So first, what we will do, we will be understanding arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operator. That means, right, you are having your Java. In that Java, you may be using these arithmetic operators while writing your code. So what I am doing, I am saying that int a is equal to 100, int b is equal to 100, and I wanted to add two numbers. Then what I can do, I can say that int c is equal to a plus b. Now you can print this value whether it is correctly coming or not. So when you say like this, right, you will be getting your 300C. Otherwise, one more way also you can do. That is, right, you can also do like this. System out.println, and then what you can do is you can also say that you can also directly a plus b. You can also do like this. It will also correct. This is also correct. Yet just you are trying to add two numbers. Okay. When you want to add two numbers, what you can do is you can simply use your plus. When you say that plus, it will be addition for your integers. Whereas if you use the same plus for your strings, then it will be considering as a concatenation. See, plus for your integers, it will add two numbers, but if you go to the strings, if you use the same plus icon, then it will concatenate. That is the difference. Okay. This is how you can use your plus. Now I wanted to like write divide two numbers. Yes, you can do that. Divide or subtract, everything you can do that. All arithmetic operations. I want to say that a minus b. When you run this, see, a plus b is 300, a minus b is minus 100. So what you are trying to do is, right, you are trying to understand all your arithmetic operators which may be useful while writing your actual scripts. Now I wanted to multiply two values. When you want to multiply two values, you can simply say that a multiplied b. When you say that a multiplied b, these two values will be multiplied. And if you want some division, then you can say that b divided by a. b divided by a. And one more thing is, right, you are also having increment a single variable or decrement a single variable. You can also increment a single variable, right? You can increment your single variable saying that a plus plus. So that means, right, what I am trying to do here is I'm trying to increment a variable here, or what you can do is you can also decrement a variable as well. You can also decrement a variable as well. That means what you are doing, my a value is 100. You can if you want to increment that value, so by default a plus plus means one value will be incremented. Okay, that means now when you run this, it will be incremented, decremented. See, okay, it is taking that this is your, let me clear everything and run once again. Now you can see, so it is coming, first is 300, okay, it's coming correctly. Then a minus b is minus 100, that is also perfect. Then a multiplied b is 20,000, perfect. And b by a is 2, that is also correct. And then a plus plus, see what is happening. A plus plus, okay, plus plus a plus plus, okay. Let me run once again. So if you want to increment the variable, what you can do is you can simply say that plus plus or minus minus. When you say that, if you want to increment your value, then what I'm doing, I'm just using plus plus. When you say that plus plus, it will increment by default 1. And also if you want to decrement, just minus minus. When you say that minus minus, it will decrement by 1 only. It will not decrement by n number. If you want to decrement, you can do that. See, when I increment, it is showing as 101, and once you are decrementing 1, again it is coming back to 100. So what you can do is, you can increment the value, you can decrement the value, and you can add two numbers, you can subtract two numbers, you can multiply two numbers, you can divide two numbers. So what you can do is, you can do all your arithmetic operators in your Java program. Clear? Fine. And one more thing is, relational operators also we will use very commonly, because especially we are testers. What is our tester job? Always we will check that expected value is matching with my actual value. When my expected value is matching with my actual value, then I will say that pass. If it is not matching, I will say that fail. So this relational operators also is very important for any tester in your Java. That means relational operators. So what I am trying to do is take the same thing, okay, take the same thing. Now I will comment this one, okay, I will comment this one. Now what I will do, I'll be using this one, relational operators. Relational operators is nothing but what you can do is, if you want to verify whether two values are equal, whether two values are not equal, whether one value is greater, one value is less, this kind of things. Relational operators for your job. So here, right, one thing, right, remember, when you want to check two values, you have to use double equal. When you say that double equal, then only it is a equal operator. And greater than, less than is same thing. And one more thing is, not equal means exclamatory mark. An exclamatory mark is nothing but not symbol. That is your not symbol. So here, if I go here, SI, so what I am doing, A is equal to B. And one more thing, the results of your relational operator will be Boolean. If it is matching, it will say that pass. If it is not matching, it will say that fail. It's a Boolean operator only. A is not equal to B. So A is equal to B. A is equal to B and A is not equal to B. Every time, whenever if you are comparing two values, it will say that either true or false. Okay, now A is less than B. You are checking A is less than B. A is greater than B. And A is less than or equal to B. A is greater than or equal to B. Like this. So if you see in this relational operators, every time what will happen is in this relational operators, it will check whether these values are matching or not. If it is matching, it will say that pass. If it is not matching, it will say that fail. So here every time pass or fail is nothing but it's a Boolean values. Boolean, it will say that true if it is matching. If it is not matching, it will say that false. Let's see. Run it. See, let's see. First one, yes, A is equal to B, no, false, correct. A is not equal to B, yes, true. A is less than B, true. A is greater than B, false, like this. So what it will do, right, here the job of this one is, relational operators is, it will check the relation between your two values and it will check whether it is matching that relation or not. If it is matching, it will say that true, else it will say that false. So this relational operators is nothing but your equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, all those things. Okay. See, please let me know if you have any doubt. And relational operators is good. Then logical operators. Logical operators also will be useful. The reason is, why logical operators means, right, now I'm having two conditions, right? Whenever if you're having two conditions and if you want to check the two conditions, then what you can do, you can use your logical operators. And is nothing but this is your symbol for your and, ampersand, or that is this is your symbol. And then okay, now what I will do is, here, right, I'm having conditions, right? I will be showing that conditions as part of your if condition. I will talk about that again. Boolean A is equal to true, Boolean B is equal to false. So here, right, what is happening is, now you are having a concept called logical operators. Logical operators is nothing but under. So very commonly we will use under. You know what I mean by under, right? Logical and, right? We learned this during our graduation. Logical and, logical or. What do you mean by that? So here, right, logical and means, right? So I'm having true and another condition is false. When you're doing your AND operation, for your AND operation, both should be true, then only your output is true. So if any of the condition is false, then your output will be false only. If both are true, then only my AND condition will be true. Similarly, if you go with your logical OR, what will happen is, if both is true, my value will be true. If one is true also, my value is true. Whenever if both are false, then only my value will be false. In OR I am talking. In AND what will happen is, if both are true, then only my output will be true. Now here, now what will happen is, now I wanted to, I use this A and B already. So let me use a different values here. Okay. Now B1 B1 R, this is my R condition. This is my R condition. R condition. Yeah. So here, right, what you are trying to do is, you are trying to check your logical operators. See, just you need to remember these symbols, nothing else is required, right? Anyway, while writing the code, you will write the code automatically, and also if you understand that, okay, here I can use my logical operators, then only thing is you need to remember these things, and R, that's it, nothing else is required. When you run this, see what will happen. First output should be B1 and B2. AND means both should be true, then only your output will be true. But here one is false, output should be false. But B1 R means at least one is true, your output will be true. Let's run this. See, like logical is nothing but what will happen is, when you're writing your scripts, maybe right, sometimes you wanted to check two conditions at a time. This kind of situation, I will go with my logical operators. Logical operators. Okay, yeah, logical operators, relational operators, and your arithmetic operation, arithmetic operators. Assignment operators is nothing but like, right, when you want to assign your values and all. Those things I will be discussing while writing the scripts and all. Okay. Till this point is clear, or any doubt? Till this point, are you clear, or you have any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, fine. So right here, right, I understand that I am having different operators. Now I'm slowly moving into conditions. Now you only tell me, I will write the code. Now what I want to do is, I want to understand conditional statements. What are all the conditional statements you have? I have if condition. One is very popular condition is your if condition, and second one is your switch case. Today what I will do, I will complete this if condition, see that how I am writing my if condition. If you have any doubt, let me know. And tomorrow what I will do is, I will be talking about your switch condition. If you understand your if condition, then using your switch, almost same, right? If for loop is the basic statements for your entire programming. So here, int a is equal to 100, int b is equal to 200. Now I wanted to implement my if condition. What is your if condition? You remember? If, see, if condition is very simple. This is how you need to implement. If condition, give your statements here, and if you have your else, that means if the condition is true, right? Please try to understand. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. So if this condition is true, then it will execute these lines. If this condition is equal to false, then it will execute these lines. That is your if condition. If condition we will use whenever if you are having more than, whenever if you are having one or two conditions. If I am having one or two conditions, then I will go with my if. If condition is true, execute this line. If the condition is not true, execute these lines. Clear? Fine. Now you can see that how I am writing my if condition. If, what is the condition? If A is equal to B. If this is my condition, if A is equal to B, use your parenthesis. And one more thing guys, right? Every time in your Java, you have to use your parenthesis. You have to write your code within this parenthesis. Now what I will do? I will say that yes, A is equal to B, like this. Okay, this is how you can write. Now else, again parenthesis. Now A is not equal. This is how you can write your if condition, not equal to B. That means, okay, here write, see again, here write I have to use is equal. Actually, right, the thing is, right, I also work with VB script, that is for your QTP. So sometimes what I will do, right, I will get little confusion because, right, syntax, right, the program and logics, everything will be same irrespective of the tool. Remember this. However, right, there will be a little syntax difference. Now, if I go to VB script, right, I will use only single is equal to only. And there is no concept of this parenthesis and all. And there is no concept of your end of line. End of line, no need to give any token here. But here, right, you have to give all the things because Java is a case sensitive. That's the reason sometimes I may be getting like little confusion. Okay, like this. Now, what you can is when you run this program, then what will happen? It will check whether A is equal to B. If is equal to B, then it will go here. If it is not, then it will go to your else part and it will execute that. That is your what is that if condition. Let me run this. See, this is how you can write your if condition. This if condition is very, very important because I told you as a tester we will be using this if condition n number of times, n number of places. Every time I will use. I forget about that n number of times. Almost every time I will use this if condition. If condition is very important for me. Okay. Now what we will do is, this is your simple if condition. Okay. This is okay. Okay, fine. That's okay. So right, I can start with the switch case, but I don't want to start with the switch case. You guys will tell me if you have any queries. Tell me if you have any queries. Tell me if you have any queries. Any queries? Okay, fine. So right, you can also use your relational operators within your for loop. That means now what I'm trying to do here is, right, I wanted to use two conditions at a time. So what I'm doing, I'm checking here, this is my condition. However, I wanted to use two conditions at a time. I'm checking if A is equal, A is greater than B. And what is this operator? You remember, this operator is OR. OR is nothing but if one is true, it will go here. Okay. So what it is doing is, it is checking that A is greater than B. A is 100, B is no, it is false. and then B is greater than C, B is 200, C is no, both are false. Both are false, so obviously what it will do? It will come here. It will come here. Now let me change this one. Now it should go here because, right, what is your A greater than B? A is 100 but B is 200, so this is false. And but B is less than C. Yes, B is 200 and C is 300. That is correct. So this is false and this is true. So at least one condition is true in your OR case, then it will go to true only. But in AND what will happen is, if you say that AND, if both are true, then only it will go to true. If one is true, one is false, it will always go to your else condition. If both are false also, it will go to your else condition. Let's see. So this is how you can write your if condition. See how nicely it is coming. This is your if condition. As I said, right, if condition we will use very frequently. Okay, clear? Any doubt on this if condition? See, no one is talking, so I don't know whether you are getting the points or not. Okay, fine. It clear? Okay, fine. So now what we will do is, we will okay, we will also do that anyway, time is there. We will also talk about your switch condition as well. See here, right, most of the times while writing your programs, whenever if you're writing the programs, most of the times I will be using two statements. Either I will use if condition or I will use my switch case. See here, the if condition I will use if I'm having one or two conditions. If I'm having more than two conditions, that means, right, I'm having just imagine that you are having some credit cards and then you are having different credit cards, ICICI, HDFC, and you are having Bank of America. So many credit cards are there, and every time I want to select only one credit card at a time. This kind of situation I cannot go with my if condition. What I will do is I will be using switch case. Switch case means if you are having more than two conditions, then you can use your switch case. What switch will do is, based on your condition, whatever the condition you are providing, if you are providing that condition, based on that condition, it will directly jump to that particular case and it will execute. That means when you say that your switch statement, the switch statement is nothing but whenever if you are having more than two conditions, you can use your switch case, and your switch case, it look like this. This is how your syntax looks like. See, whenever if you are having like more than two conditions, then what you can do is you can go with your switch case. Okay, fine. Now here I will say like this. I will give some conditions here. Otherwise, char C is equal to fail. Okay. Now what I will do is, switch. So this is your syntax. Switch. Give your expression. Expression is nothing but condition. Give your condition. Case A. Case A. What are the statements? case A grade, case B, and you can also give break. That means, right, for each and every condition you can provide your break. That means what it will do, it will execute. See here what is the intention of your switch case is like, based on my condition I want to execute only one case at a time. So if you're passing this value as A, if I'm passing this value as A, it will directly jump to this case A and it will execute and it will come out of that. It will not execute the remaining cases. That means it's based on your condition. Based on your condition. So it is less than 70%. Eleven 70% and break. Every statement you have to provide your break. Break, and you can have case C colon SISO average and break, average break, and then default is SISO fail. That means right here what is happening is done. Everything is done. Okay. Now if you observe here, right, whatever the condition you are passing here, now if I am passing this condition as A, then what it will do is it will execute only this case and it will come out. Whatever the condition you are providing here, if I am providing here C, then what it will do, it will two times, where two times? Only one time. Where I use two times? This is a condition only. This is my condition. So this is C. C is a condition. So here, whatever the value inside your C, say for example, if I am sending here Z, right? If I am sending my X, okay. Now, right, if I am passing this value as X, so here it will check, is there any X case? No. Then what it will do? It will go to your default and it will execute this case. Now say for example, if you are passing your value as A, your statement, your condition as A, when you are passing that A, then only this case will be executed and it will come out. Similarly, if you are passing this condition as B, when I am passing this condition as B, then this case will be executed and come out. Say for example, if you are passing this condition, so obviously there is no case for your Z, what it will do? It will go to your default. Clear? Let me run this. It should print fail. See? So whatever that condition you are passing, if I am passing that condition as A, so what it will do? You are saying that, see, you are passing switch C. What C contains? C contains A. In your case, A is available, yes. Then it will execute only this case only. Got it? So, right, whenever if you want to execute more than two conditions, then go with your switch. In switch, what you will do is you will simply give your condition. Based on your condition, your case will be executed. Clear? So, fine. Is it clear, this switch case and your if condition, is this both are clear? Okay, fine.